welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very exciting video. So way back when, I think maybe the end of last year or like the very beginning of this year, there's an Instagram. I think the handle is Black Girls Who Write. Posted a Black reading awards thing. And I was so excited. They had so many different categories. And I was looking through them and I was so excited to get to the categories, especially that I liked, right? That I really read. Romance, mystery thrillers, but especially the erotica section. I was so excited because I'm like, I know I've probably read all of these. Unbeknownst to me, I had not. So out of the 10 nominations, because each category had a different amount of nominations, but out of the 10, 5 of them I had read and 5 I hadn't. So I wanted to go ahead and finish reading the rest and then make a video of me rating them myself. By the time I'm making this video, they already have the second round open, which is for the 5 nominations. So at the end, I will also say what 5 made it. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I wrote them down. I'm definitely one of those readers who, even while I'm reading, I don't remember names, I don't remember plot. So I'm sorry. We just going from what I remember. But I was able to put them in order. And we're gonna start with, sadly, number 10. So number 10 is Joyride by Cassandra Charles. This was the last one that I had to read, and I read this, today's Monday, I read this Sunday. I ended up DNFing it. It just wasn't for me. I think out of all of the books, this is one of the more erotica-like books. Like, it's just smut. However, that's exactly how it came off to me. It was just sex. It was words on a page. I think I got to about the 20% mark. There wasn't much going on in it. I mean, it was a lot of information dumping, and it was in first person. However, it kind of read as third person. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I just felt like even if I were to try and continue it and finish it, I wouldn't feel anything towards the characters. So that was sadly a DNF, which means that I also did not rate it. I do not rate anything that I DNF. Number 9. Grown Folks Confessions by Sherelle Green, maybe? I think. This one I gave a 2-star to. 2 stars for me means that I didn't necessarily like it, but I had some highlights. So I don't really remember this one as well. I think it's second chance. However, what I do remember, what I didn't like, was the formatting and how the story flowed. So it's a novella, so it's like 130 pages. However, it has 3 sections, and I love sections in a book. However, I find now I don't really like them in novellas because they're already so short. And to me, sometimes it can make the story drag on, or sometimes it can feel choppy. So in this one, it's in 3 sections. The first section is high school. The second section, I think, is like mid-20s. And then the third and final section might be late 20s, early 30s. I don't remember. To me, it's the least erotica-like book, in my opinion. I feel like there were only 2, like, really detailed scenes. But to me, the main detail scene was in the high school section. And I know for a lot of people, that's not what they like to read. I didn't think that there was going to be a detailed, spicy high school scene, but there was. It was like the whole chapter, the whole section. It just didn't work for me. It didn't flow. I almost feel like she should have made the third section its own book and then maybe have flashbacks to their high school section and the middle section. I feel like for me it would have worked better, but obviously, like, I'm one reader, like, who cares what I think. And the drama, it had a ton of drama, and this is the second novella that I've read that had a ton of it. And I think I don't like super dramatic novellas, because again, it's too short. Like right when you're getting into it, it's already over. And it is just too much. My blood pressure, it raises my blood pressure. Number 8 is Love on the B-Side by Zahara. I cannot for the life of me, I even tried, I don't know, I can't for the life of me remember if this is the first or the second book. I think it's the second book. So this is a duet. I think the first book is the B-side, and then Love on the B-Side. Now, I gave Love on the B-Side on Goodreads a 3-star, but I think in my review it's like a 3.25. I gave the first one a 3.75. I did prefer the first one over the second. The second one, I don't know, y'all. It was a lot. It was a lot. There was a lot going on. Again, super dramatic. I really don't remember that much about it. I think it was spicy. I don't even know. I do know I preferred the first one over the second, though. That's all I have to say about this one. This, I would say, is my bottom 3. That just out of the 10, they just weren't my favorite. Number 7, Toying with Temptation. So this is the prequel, like the book 0.5 to the Firecracker Cousins series by A.H. Cunningham. This is also the last book that I needed to read to finish her backlist. So now I've read all of her books. Toying with Temptation, it was good. I ended up giving it a 4-star. So this, I actually do remember kind of what it's about. So we have, it's interracial. He is a toy maker, and she is a worker. She works a lot. They end up vacationing in the same place. Again, I don't even remember where it was. But wherever they go vacation, he's there to work on this new toy that he has, and she is there to relax. And I mean, while they're there, I think they're there for about a month, or maybe a little more than a month. They have fun. They have a good time. I think the one thing for me that didn't work was the time. They're there for a while, but the timing is off in there. It's like you're reading and then all of a sudden it's been 3 weeks already. It's like, wait, why are we skipping like we didn't even read the 3 weeks. We just know it's been 3 weeks. So there was a lot of time jumping to me that didn't work. So that was my number. That was really my only issue with it. I have number 6, Plus One by Tannen. So I don't really know how much to say about this one plot-wise, because I had fun finding it out on my own. But we have a character named Dylan and an MMC. I think it's pronounced Abel. That's how I was saying it. Abel, A-B-E-L. I don't know. She's a dancer. I don't know what he do. I don't know. He makes money, but I don't know what he does. But she meets him, I think, while dancing. They hit it off. He has a secret. Yeah, it was fun to uncover. It is a very lengthy book. I think it's about 500 pages or 400. I think it's 500. But I think, if I remember correctly, my issue was it was almost too much spice. Like some of those scenes could have just been taken out. Oh, yeah. I remember. It was a lot of spice. However, the spicy scenes were also very short. I felt like some of them could have been taken out and then lengthen the remaining ones. So like if there were 20 spicy scenes, take out 10, and the 10 that are left, make it longer. I wanted more detail. I wanted more. But yeah, that was my number 6. It's a great series. I think my favorite actually is the 3rd, Plus Us. It's a novella. But yeah, it's a very great series. Okay, now we get into my top 5. Top 5, let me tell you my number 5 first. My number 5 is Curiosity by CCJ, Christina C. Jones. This is paranormal. It's short. It's 57 pages. I struggle with where to put this because I absolutely loved it, but I never know how to rate and judge short books because there's not that much to it. Like, what you read is what you get. It's great. So we have an FMC, again, don't remember her name, We have an FMC who's a chef, I think. And she's catering at this party. She walks out of the kitchen, and I mean, they having a good time out there. I mean, they having a good time. There's some sucking of the what you bleed, you know what I mean? And she ends up in this control panel room where they have all the cameras. And our MMC, who is our rich black vampire, pops in on her in there, and that's literally what it is. It was amazing. Now, this is also not on Kindle Unlimited. I think it's exclusively on her website. It's $2.99, like flat. There's no tax or nothing. It's just $2.99. So that's my number 5. And then we have our top 4. I just want to preface this by saying my top 4 changed. I actually already had, when I looked at the category list, I already had my top 3. I wasn't planning on that changing until I ended up reading one of the ones that I hadn't read yet. And it changed the game. It changed the game for all of it. So now, books 4, 3, and 2 were originally 1, 2, and 3, but they all moved down 1, right? So number 4 is A Naughty Offer by Kimberly Brown. That woman can write, y'all. She can write some scenes, okay? So this is an FFM. We have let me find out their name so I'm not just saying FFMC, whatever. Okay, I got it. So it's Passion, Treasure, and Mason. So Passion and Treasure are already together. They're already in an established relationship. However, they would like to add another person. But I think as the story starts, they're not really looking. But I think they're both, one of them is, I think, a tattoo artist, and the other, I think, is a barber. So I don't remember where Mason goes first, but he meets one of them first. And I think he eventually meets them both separately, actually. He meets them both separately. He doesn't know that they're together. And they actually are telling each other about him, but they don't even know that they're talking about the same guy until they find out or whatever. They end up wanting to make this work, but they end up having to test him to see if he would be compatible with them, if that makes sense. So they kind of go on separate dates just to see how they feel. And y'all, they have this one scene. Treasure and Passion are together. I don't remember who it is, but one is the other, and the one who's being has no idea that they're on FaceTime with Mason. And y'all, it was a good time, okay? It was a good time. So yeah, that's my number 4. Number 3 is For His Pleasure by Kimberly Brown as well. This was actually my first book of hers that I read, and it was amazing. It has a trope that I'm not a huge fan of, which is the virgin trope. However, it's the MMC that's a virgin. I mean, mind blown. It was amazing. I gave it a 5-star. Don't ask me. I mean, it's about what that trope is. I mean, he's a virgin. That's literally what it is. Obviously something extra, but I don't remember. But I mean, they do it everywhere. They do it everywhere. It was, yeah. Go read that. That's all I have to say about that as well. Number 2. Now, mind you, my number 2 was originally my number 1. If You Let Me by Kima B. This is a part of a series. It's also in another category on this, just like some of these other books as well. Curiosity is in the paranormal category as well. But If You Let Me is in the collaborative series category, which is what it sounds like, a series that has different authors for each book. This one is a part of the bucket list series. It's 4 books. They can all be read separately, with the exception of books 1 and 4. 1 and 4 are by the same author, so it follows the same people. It's by Honesty Price. Book 2 is by Jay Cherry. I think that's the Marriage in Trouble one. And then number 3 is If You Let Me, which is Friends to Lovers. And I think they all, especially this one, involve an adult club. I love an adult club. I think that's in +1 too. I don't remember. But I love an adult club. I have a mutual who said that she feels like it's kind of overdone. Like she's kind of over that trope. I'm not. I want that in my books. Because I guess I know it's going to be something. It's going to be spicy. So this has an adult club. And it's one of those like you don't know their identity kind of ones. But I mean, they're best friends. Like they should know. It was I was just rereading some of them highlights. Girl, some of them highlights, come on now. It was amazing. Number one, which changed the game for my top 3. Naughty, Nice, and Slow by Tisha Andrews. This is a part of another collaborative series. It's also a part of the same series as A Naughty Offer. I think it's Naughty November or something like that. It came out November of 2022. Where do I even start? I took my time reading this. I made sure to take my time because I didn't want to finish it. So it's age gap. It's 13 years. You actually don't find out their ages until the very last chapter, chapter 18. However, I was able to figure it out in chapter 1. So we have an FMC named Bells. Well, her last name I think is Bells. Her first name is Charlie, but she goes by Bells. Bells has a brother named Spade, and we know that Spade and her best friend are kind of like in cahoots. I think it's Chrissy. It's a very, very, very long name, like Christelamus something, but Chrissy for short. And we find out that they've had a thing, and that he's 30. I don't know why I'm mentioning all this, but he's 30. And he's like 3 years older than both of them, so that's 27. And then we already know that in the synopsis, we already know that Parker is 13 years older than her. So 27 plus 10 is 37, plus 3 is 40. So he's 40. So it's 27 and 40. He's a vet. I also don't like reading about that either. However, like had I had known that, I probably wouldn't have read it because of this category and me wanting to read all of them. I ended up doing it, and I'm very glad I did. He's a vet. She is some kind of, she sells skincare products like and medicinal stuff. Like it's natural things. And how it starts, she has a pack. She's waiting on a package. It's full of like crystals from Tiffany's, something like that. And it's shipped to his place. He has some kind of vet office. It's for veterans. And he owns it. And it's shipped to him. He doesn't know what it is, but he keeps it. He goes to the place, and I mean, she's cutting up. He ends up lying, saying that it's not there because he wants to mess with her. But from there, we have this hate relationship. I wouldn't say that this is enemies to lovers because I think it's too short for it. Like we haven't really established enemies necessarily, but I would definitely say hate. I would say this is hate to love. And he's mean. He's really mean. Like, if you read chapter 1 just, I'm like, who is this? I can tell he's gonna be a trip. But he ends up lying to her, saying that he don't have it, but he does. She ends up getting it back at some point. Well, I think that day, actually. Because they have a lady that works there. She's older. And y'all know people love old people. From there, we have this hate relationship. They end up Okay. They end up meeting up again at some point, and this is when we have a turn of events, because he is a vet. So he, I think, uses marijuana or something for himself, whatever. But something happened to where he couldn't get it. But she has a card because, again, she uses this stuff for her business. And she ends up seeing him there. It's dispensary, whatever it's called. And she slaps her card saying, like, here, just use my card or whatever. And he traps her between himself and the counter. Oh, when I tell you this book made me sick, it made me sick. Like, not in a bad way, but I had so many butterflies in my stomach. I was sick. I literally had to get out of bed and go eat something, go fix me something to eat, because I was nauseous. I was sick to my stomach of how giddy this book made me. But anyway, it just took a very nice turn after that, and it was an amazing time. And yeah, that's how that jumped to my number 1, and it pushed all my top 3 down. And now it's 4, 3, 2, 1. But yeah, I think my top 5 are all 5 stars. I think so. Curiosity is the only one I don't remember. I think I did give that a 5. But yeah, this is, I had a great time. I had a great time reading all of these books. Yes, I had some that I didn't really enjoy. Now, would I still recommend all of them? Absolutely. Even the ones that I didn't necessarily like. Yes, because I feel like the reasons why I didn't like them are personal. Like, that's a me thing. Who's to say that someone else might not like how the story develops for Grown Folks Confessions? So I would still recommend all of them. I think I just maybe wasn't in the mood for some of them as well. But yeah, it was a great time. And I would like to say that since I'm recording this, they also have the second round or something, and it's a top 5. So every single category has only 5 nominations now. And I would like to say that my top 5, with the exception of 1, has made it into the top 5 category. The only one that's not there is my number 1. Naughty, Nice, and Slow did not make top 5. But guess what did? Grown Folks Confessions. How is it my number 9 spot and my number 1 spot switched? Yeah. But then again, when I did vote for the first round, I obviously didn't vote for Naughty, Nice, and Slow because I hadn't read it yet. So that doesn't really affect me necessarily, because I'll probably just vote for the same book that I voted the first time. I think I voted for If You Let Me. I should have, because that was my number 1. And now it's my number 2. So I'll probably go with that one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. You might have to go look up these books for yourself. These synopsis, whatever. Because I don't be knowing nothing about these books. I don't be knowing no names, nothing. But I hope you enjoyed your time here. Because I know I did. Bye!